Hey guys, what's up? We got a pretty cool one today. This is a Westcreek Guitars Revenge model. You can find this on Amazon right now with a $30 off coupon on the listing page. I think it comes out to $209. And I've been looking at these for a while, and I finally decided, you know what? That's a pretty cool looking guitar. It fits my style and fits my mojo. I wonder if it's as good as it looks. The spec sheet had some pretty bold claims. It claimed that it had stainless steel frets. It claimed that it had a bone nut. It claimed that it had a mahogany body. If you look at the neck, it is a set neck. I put the strap lock on it myself. That's the only thing about this guitar that's not factory at the moment. It claims that it had heavy metal humbuckers, and it seems too good to be true. But it was Amazon, it was Prime, it would come in 2 days, and I thought, you know what, if it's really too good to be true, it can be returned. If it's not too good to be true, it could be the deal of the century. So here it is. Some more specs about this guitar. Obviously you can see the finish. It doesn't look like a veneer to me. It's got binding all the way around. It's got binding on the fretboard. And my gauges show me that it is a 14-inch radius. So it's a very flat radius. The tuners aren't anything special, but they're not terrible either. See those? Sealed tuners, but they're not those trapezoid type. They're actually sealed tuners, like something that you might find on a Squire. Pretty easy to turn. I will say that when I unboxed the guitar, everything was in really good shape. None of the tuners were loose, either at the peg or actually on the machine. Those were all tightened down, but usually they're not. Down here, the only thing that I had to do to this guitar was the second volume control right here. The nut was a little bit loose. I gave it about half of a turn and it tightened right up. So as far as out of the box, the setup was perfect right out of the box. No buzzing frets, nothing. So, usually with these cheaper guitars you end up with problems like that. But my first impressions when I opened the box were, this looks good, it feels good, it sounds good acoustically. So, what's really going on inside here? Well, I don't know. I want to do that on camera with you. So let's put it up on the bench. Let's open up the back panel and take a look at what pots they used, what jack they used, and then we're going to do what everybody's here for. We're going to plug it in. We're going to run through some different sounds, see how it sounds. I want to give you my honest first impressions of that too. And then I'll give you my recommendation on whether I think this is worth picking up. I will have a link in the description for this guitar if at any point you decide, I don't want to listen to them anymore, how do I buy it? Or, to avoid it if I don't suggest it. You can say, well, that's the one to avoid. So let's get this on the bench and look inside. Let's take a little bit of a closer look now. So there's the two humbuckers, as you can see. They have adjustable pull pieces. There's the knobs, which are really nice knobs, by the way. These don't really look or feel like the really cheap ones. It's hard to show on camera, but they're incredibly reflective, the tops. Here's a close-up of the wood grain underneath. I don't think this is a veneer. It just doesn't look like a veneer. I have a guitar with a veneer, and it doesn't look like that. If we look here where the fingerboard meets the body, you can see there's not any bleeding paint or anything. Look how clean that is. Here's where the neck meets the body of the guitar as well. Again, very, very clean. If we look at this binding on the side, it looks really good. You can't feel it, if that makes sense. When I feel like this, you don't actually feel anything. It's all smooth, all the way across there. There's that jack there. All right, let's move up to the fingerboard. These block inlays are very well done, very well done. There's not a huge, you can't really feel it either on the fingerboard when I put my finger over it like that. The frets definitely seem to be stainless steel to me. Now, I know that on the camera right now, they look a little bit like nickel because they're like brown, but that's because they're reflecting my ceiling. My ceiling is the color that a nickel would look like. There's a very bright LED light above this, so it feels like stainless steel to me. It does not feel or look like nickel, and I'm terribly allergic to nickel, and I have not had any reaction whatsoever to touching those like I do with all my other guitars. If we look here at the side, on the neck here, the binding, very well done. If you look at the fret ends, rounded, very, very well done. This is one of the better feeling fingerboards that I own. It's very good. If we look up here at the nut is definitely bone, or at least a very good synthetic bone. It's not plastic. You can tell by the color and by the feel that it is bone. And then there's the truss rod cover that says Revenge, which looks pretty cool. Westcreek guitars. Not a big fan of the way it looks, but you know, it's not a sticker. Surprise! It looks like an abalone or a mother of pearl or something underneath there. So you can't physically feel that either. Another corner not cut. All right, so let's flip it over and take a look at the back. Here's the back. You can see the wood grain underneath there. Another reason why I don't think that the front is a veneer, because why would they put a veneer on the back? If it looks like this on the back and you can see the wood grain through the back, then I would assume that what you're seeing on the front is the actual wood grain with a real burst. Let me take this off. I put that on there myself. Like I said, that's the only adjustment that I made. I thought I was going to be gigging this guitar this weekend. The gig ended up getting canceled. But anyway, that's why I went ahead and installed it before I filmed this. You can see the neck joint there. It looks really, really, really good. Really good, guys. By the way, these strap locks that I'm using, they were like $4.99 on Amazon. I'll put a link to those too if you're interested. Pretty cool. All right, and then here's the neck. Very, very nice. If we look at the tuners, like I said, they didn't cut any corners here either. They're these closed back sealed tuners. They're not those trapezoidal shaped tuners that tend to go out of tune. So let's pop this off and see what's going on inside and see if we can determine if this really is mahogany. All right, I've not looked at this myself. I took the screws off. Let's slide this out. Full-sized pots. Are you kidding me? 3 full-size pots. What do they say on them? CF. Not familiar with what that is, but they are full-size. And they covered it with anti-conductive paint, which is pretty cool. There you can see some sort of, oh, that's where the screw goes in. So there's a quality control miss. It doesn't really matter all that much, but it looks like the screw hole actually isn't a hole. It just like went through the side and came out. That doesn't look like plywood to me. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. That does not look like plywood to me. I think this might actually be mahogany based on its weight. Now it doesn't appear to be one piece of mahogany though. You see this? It looks like it's a couple of pieces. 2 or 3 at the most, from what I can tell. But if you look at the way they did the wiring here, wiring looks pretty clean. And yeah, the humbuckers look like they are 4-wire humbuckers. It's hard to show here, but I can see on this humbucker here, there's a green wire, a red wire, and a white wire. I'd assume there's a black one too. So yeah, that's pretty remarkable, guys. Pretty remarkable. I'm shocked that this doesn't have mini pots. Let's see what the switch is. All right, I haven't seen in here either, so let's pull that off. Look at the switch. Just your standard switch. The joints look like they were done well. I don't see any problems there. Man, I keep expecting to see like shortcuts and stuff, but I don't see anything wrong with this at all. Look at that. I don't see any signs that this is a veneer on top either, guys. All right, well now it's time for the main event. Actually, I'm going to restring it first, and then we will plug it in, see how it sounds.
While changing the strings, I made an interesting discovery. Check out the tailpiece. What does it say? Epi, and then blocked out. This is an Epiphone tailpiece, guys. What the heck? If you look at this, the bridge, I can get it off. Doesn't say anything on it. But the tailpiece is definitely an Epiphone tailpiece. Crazy.
All right, let's go ahead and get started with the sound test. First up, we're going to do a clean setting with some delay and some reverb. I'm going to start on the bridge, and then we're going to go to the middle, and then we're going to go to the neck, and then I'm going to pull the volume back on both pickups and see, how much play we've got. All right, let's turn the volume down on both pickups and just see if we can, see if it's more of a linear deal or if we end up getting just like less power or less volume. So it appears that the volume, at least when it's clean, it literally is just volume. You're not really losing. You're not just like taking the distortion down or the gain down. It's literally is just volume. All right, let's move it to a heavier setting, and we're going to perform a similar experiment at the end of that. Let's see what it's like with some heavy overdrive. That sounds amazing. I love that. All right, let's move it to the neck. It does that really well too. Couple more things. First, I want to try both pickups together and see if we can get like a really cool, like broken up kind of a sound. And then I'm going to roll the volume back on both the neck and the bridge and see if we can clean up a dirty signal. It does the broken up thing really well. All right, let's try to adjust the volume now and see if we can clean up a dirty sound. It does it, man. It sounds awesome, too. Okay, one last setting. I'm going to put it on like a straight dirty valve setting with no reverb, nothing. man, this guitar does it all. I think it sounds amazing. So, yeah, there you go. That's what it sounds like. All right, so what are my conclusions on this guitar? Well, you heard it. It sounds absolutely amazing. The pickup sounded amazing. There was a lot of play with the volume control too to clean it up a little bit. Make it sound more single coil like, best way I can describe it, or open it up all the way and just drive that power. The fingerboard feels amazing. There are no sharp frets anywhere. It's super easy to play. The string tension is great with this scale length. I mean, this is Gibson scale length. I don't have any tuning issues with it at all. It stays in tune. As we saw, it's got an Epiphone tailpiece. The bridge might be Epiphone too. It didn't say that on the bottom, but it had the little square cut out where it would say Epiphone. So, I don't know, man. It seems like it's made of mahogany. It is heavy, and as you saw in that gut shot, it looked like it was mahogany. The joining here where the neck is, where it's set, is perfect. There's like, you can't really tell that it's more than one piece. It looks like it's all one piece. It's not, but it looks like it is. They did a really good job finishing it. They didn't really cut any corners here. I mean, they could have put trapezoid tuners. They could have used a really crappy bridge and tailpiece. They could have used horrible humbuckers. They could have used crappy knobs. They could have used crappy pots. They didn't. They didn't cut any corners on this at all. Even the switch. It doesn't feel like it's easy to flip the switch. I mean, it switches with firm clicks when you switch it. I'm really at a loss here. I don't understand how they could sell the guitar this cheap. I know Firefly and Harley Benton and others, they sell guitars like this in a similar price range. But this one's on Amazon. You can get it to your house if you live in the United States in 2 days with a return policy. And that's absolutely nuts to me. I used to say that the Kramer Baretta Special was the king budget guitar. And in a way, I think it is, still. The reason is, it's a Kramer. And I know it's just a headstock logo, but that matters to some people. I have to admit, I do not like the way that this looks. This Westcreek Guitars logo. While it's very well done, it's definitely a mother-of-pearl inlay, at least it looks like it. It's not a sticker. I like the way the truss rod cover looks. I don't like the way this looks aesthetically. That's not going to keep me from gigging this guitar and keeping it, because I'm going to keep it. I just wish they used a better font, honestly. It's like those Leo James guitars. I haven't pulled the trigger on those because I don't like the name, and I don't like the way that the name looks. Maybe that's a stupid reason to avoid buying a guitar, but we all have our own reasons. That being said, if you were to purchase a guitar like this from either, let's say, Ibanez, Epiphone, or Jackson makes one like this. The Jackson one is the cheapest one. You can get that one for like around $400. I think it's called a Kelly. It doesn't look quite like this. It looks different enough from an Explorer that it's not like, this looks like an Explorer or a Destroyer immediately. It's hard to pick it apart, the body. But if you look at the Kelly, it's got these weird, body contours to it, which you might like that, but it is a Jackson, so maybe it is worth the extra money to you. Moving on, the Ibanez Destroyer. The cheapest I have ever seen an Ibanez Destroyer recently was $400. It was $399.99 used on GuitarCenter.com. $400. And then if you go the Epiphone route, good luck. I think if you can even buy the Epiphone Explorer somewhere in stock, it's going to be $599 or $699, if not more. And if you found one used, it would be around $500, I would say. So, all of that being said, this is an amazing deal. If you don't care about the brand, and you don't care what the headstock logo looks like, and you don't need a tremolo, that's the other thing, this is the new king, in my opinion. The humbuckers sound amazing. It's made incredibly well. I mean, the stainless steel frets and the mahogany body are completely nuts. Completely nuts. The Epiphone inspired by Gibsons use nickel frets. They don't use stainless steel frets. I mean, it's got everything on paper. And sometimes things have it on paper, but they don't have it where it counts. This has it where it counts in every way. I can't really suggest this guitar more to you. I'm going to put a link in the description if you want to buy it. Honestly, it doesn't need anything either. It doesn't need a new bridge. It doesn't need a new tailpiece. It doesn't even need a new nut, which does appear to actually be bone. It does not appear to be plastic. It doesn't need new tuners. It stays in tune. This is a guitar you can get delivered, open the box, pull it out, change the strings, go to a gig. It's that simple, in my experience. Now, let's say that I was lucky, and let's say that you got one, it came, the tuners were all loose, the pots were loose, and the truss rod needed to be adjusted. It's still worth it for that price, because you're not going to put more than an hour of time into that. You're not. Even if you replaced all the tuners and the bridge, you're still going to be at around $260. And you'll be hard pressed to find a brand new guitar for that plays and sounds as good as this one does. This one absolutely gets my recommendation. I think it is the king. If you don't care about brand, I put it right up there with the Beretta Special for value. For any level of guitarist, whether this would be your very first guitar, your second guitar, or your 30th guitar, I think this is something that everyone should have if you don't already have a guitar of this style by someone like Epiphone. So that's all I've got to say about this for today. I really appreciate all of you very, very much. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Please join the Discord. You'll see a link to that in the description. We can talk about stuff like this and other things that I find that I've not made videos on yet. It's fairly active. People are talking in there every day about guitar, gear, etc. Thanks again. Really appreciate it. See you next time, and keep on rocking.